Hi, my name is Joseph. And for this interview project, I decided to interview a BMCC staff. I approached this person and I explained to them that I'm in intercultural communications class and I explained the assignment. To my surprise, they agreed to the interview and it was a great like open and deep interview. Um, for privacy matters, I will only mention Eva's first name. After I did ask her about her name, I decided to ask about her identity or how she identifies. And she began to explain where she came from. She said she left Cuba with her parents left Cuba when she was 3. She was raised in Brooklyn, New York. The reason why they had to leave Cuba is because of political oppression. So here they would have a better life. But when she got here, she said, the first thing she noticed is that, you know, it was looked upon if you spoke Spanish. And, like you were stereotyped and marginalized. Marginalization existed. And her family, as well as her, felt the pressure of assimilating to what they thought they wanted them to be. It already was different because her mother was white and her dad was black or a darker skinned Cuban. She said, but through that, she said she learned how to be independent, resourceful, and self-reliant. Um, as I went into the next section of my interview, it was about values. And she was telling me the things that she values about herself as well as like the rest of the world, but mostly about like she relies on herself. She said she likes the authenticity of who she is. And she says she does not need validation from others. Um, there's something to be said about that. You know what I mean? I'm sure she came to these values from a place of, being resourceful and not relying on others. And she had to figure it out herself. And through her lived experiences, allowed her to keep doing what she's doing. It was one of the questions that she asked me to rephrase. And through her lived experiences is how she became who she was. So it kind of ties in with identity too. I then asked her about her goals and what she intended, and she explained to me that she was a recruiter at BMCC and she's been there since 2021. She said prior to that she did IT work. Yes, and the thing that I thought her goal was so interesting is she said that her goal is to live to the next day. So through that, I interpreted that she takes every moment in it. She likes to be present. That's what she told me. And I think that was a great thing. She gave me short answers, but I feel like they were meaningful. She said when her goal is to live the next day, it sounded simple, but it was more thought the deeper it felt. Her answer reflected on realism and resilience and just living one day at a time. We also spoke about some challenges people face when reaching their goals. One of hers is her gender challenges, racial challenges, stereotypes, and systematic barriers. Acknowledging those barriers still emphasize her growth and reinvention. When I first saw her, I had an idea of who I thought she was, and I don't think I would have ever had the thought that I have if I didn't experience how she answered these questions. One thing that she said is that she feels like people reinvent themselves and they get stuck in this invention that they have of themselves and not realize that you can always reinvent yourself and explore more. And me visually seeing her, I think that's what she may have done. But it also makes me realize how complex identity is and how it seems on the surface. She's had lived experiences, and I think that's how we all figure out what our identity is, through our lived experiences. And I think that's what connects us in a way, where even though we have different backgrounds, and even though intercultural communications is not about just language, it's about the lived experiences and having an open mind to listen to the next person's story in that moment and learning something from it. This interview helped me realize that culture, migration, and identity values all experience the way we shape our lives, our lived experiences, all those things. It reminded me that it's not just something that we can study, but it is something that we practice when we approach people with respect, curiosity, and openness. Again, this project was truly interesting to me to see how people respond to specific questions. I do think it's like a psychology to it. Uh, but I also think that, it's meaningful. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, I think everyone wants to be heard and understood. Um, and yeah, and I think when you're interviewing somebody, you have to maintain an open mind, and you will be in the moment of the experience. Eva was very interesting. I'm glad that I had an opportunity to speak to her about these questions. Uh, yeah, it's just so many different ways you can communicate and understand each other. Again, that's all I got, and thank you for allowing me to do this interview or this project. It was challenging, but yeah, I made it. I did it. I hope. All right, have a good one.